Okay, we are here with Dr. Jane Goodall, and she will be at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and she has been working closely with the Disney Conservation Fund. And when you come to the park, you know that some of your money goes to that, but you may not know exactly what it pays for. Dr. Goodall, you know that importance firsthand, don't you?
Indeed, we have a program for young people in many countries around the world, and 15 of our Roots and Shoots projects are supported entirely by grants from Disney.
So that's making a real difference then with the young people who may not even realize the importance yet.
That's right, and of course young people are terribly important because we're working really hard for conservation, to save habitats, to save species from extinction, and that's an awful waste of time if the next generation aren't better stewards than we've been.
Absolutely, because you've been working at this a long time, and you've been out in Tanzania really seeing it firsthand. So do you kind of see this as carrying on, like people like you who have laid that foundation so that that work does not go to waste?
Well, we have people out in Tanzania. We have the local people who are working with the project. In order to save the environment, it's really important to work with the people and to improve their lives, and we find that as I predicted, once their livelihood is better, then they've turned around and now they're helping us in our conservation efforts. So what began working with people in 12 villages around the Gombe National Park, where I've been doing chimpanzee research since 1960, we're now in 52 villages in that whole area. And you see the forests that were destroyed come back, the forests that still remain being protected, and it's been so successful. We have similar projects in Uganda, in Democratic Republic of Congo, in the Republic of Congo, in Senegal and in Burundi. And our youth program goes even out beyond that. But I think, it's important for people to realize that Disney is not only supporting the youth programs, but they're supporting our work with orphan chimps in the Republic of Congo, in our Chimpunga sanctuary, and they're also supporting the only attempt anywhere to release mandrills, those are the ones with the blue and red faces, to release them back into the wild. So the first infant that was born to a female who'd gone back into the wild has been named Disney.
Oh, that's amazing. I think sometimes people feel like it's almost hopeless with so much habitat destruction and endangered species, but it sounds like really there are efforts there that kind of prove that we really can make a difference.
Yes, and there's no question, but places we've destroyed can be given another chance, and animal species on the brink of extinction can be given another chance. And if there weren't people striving to rescue a species from extinction, we wouldn't have a lot of animals well known in the US, like the California condor would be gone. It was down to 12 birds. There's now 500.
Wow. The
whooping crane was down also to 12 birds, and it's now about 500. And the black-footed ferret and the Vancouver Island marmot from Canada. It goes on and on. Animals that would not be here but for certain people who said, we won't let it happen.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so inspiring. And it sounds like you're going to make sure that we won't let it happen continues on and on.
Yes, and I think one of the problems today, we have, without any question, messed up this planet. We are approaching a time of no return, approaching a time where so many ecosystems will be destroyed that the outlook for the future is really grim. But we're not there yet. Please, in my book, we're not there yet. And so I think it's really important that people hear these stories of what we can achieve. Otherwise, if you lose hope, you don't do anything.
Absolutely. And speaking of youngsters and inspiration, I do have to ask, how did you get inspired as a youngster that led you on this amazing life path?
I was born loving animals. From the age of I was 1.5, and my mum found I'd take a whole handful of earthworms to bed with me, and she said, it looked as though you were studying them to see how do they move without legs. I don't know, but anyway, then when I was 4, I hid in the hen house apparently for 4 hours to see how a hen lays an egg, because I couldn't see a hole for the egg to come out, and I waited until I saw this amazing event. And then it was so lucky I had a supportive mother, because she supported this love of animals, and she found books for me to read about animals because she thought that would make me read more quickly. So I met Dr. Dolittle, that amazing English doctor who started being a doctor for the animals and was taught animal language by his parrot Polynesia, and oh, how badly I wanted a parrot to teach me animal languages. And then I met Tarzan, and I just, there was no television back then, so this was books, 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 and I had just enough money, because we had no money, it was wartime and everything. I could just buy this little book, Tarzan of the Apes, and of course I fell madly in love with this glorious lord of the jungle, and what did he do? He married the wrong Jane.
Oh, I love that. And then Disney, how did you actually start working with Disney? It seems like such a beautiful synergy.
It began when Animal Kingdom had been conceived, and it was partially ready, it wasn't open yet, and a couple of animals died, and there were some cheetah cubs which accidentally licked lead paint or something. There were a couple of some kind of bird that committed suicide running in front of one of the, what are these things that go around?
I think the safari vehicles.
Safari
yes.
vehicle. And there was one very, very old hippo, and she was rescued because people were so sorry for her. She'd been in a dirty little bathtub. She was 30 years old, and she died. She couldn't quite make it. But apart from that, hundreds of animals had been moved, and nobody died. So I knew Rick Baronji, who was in charge of the animal collection at the time, and he brought me here to look for myself, to see how it was. I was immensely impressed. I mean, there's not many places where elephants have a pool big enough for the whole group of 5 or 6, whatever it is. They can all swim at the same time and bathe and splash in the mud. And animals wandering around, like as we speak now, out of the window, this giraffe and wildebeest and oryx and collie cattle and not saddle-bill stork, but various kinds of birds. And so I began to be a spokesperson for Disney. And when the big opening happened, then there was press from all over the world, and it was crazy. I was rushed. They were sitting at different tables, and I was rushed from a print table here and a audio and a video, I think 12 minutes at each table, and there were about 12 tables. It was crazy. But the funny story about the beginning of my time with Disney was that the Tree of Life wasn't yet finished. It had scaffolding around it. They were attaching the leaves, but the amazing cement carvings were all around. So I was able to actually go up and see them, one of the last people probably to go up and see them close up. And they're staggering, they're stunning. This artist who works in cement. So I went all around and I was absolutely fascinated. And I loved the juxtaposition, like there might be a little small elephant and then next door to it would be a huge centipede. So it was kind of Disney magic. And I got down and I said, well, I didn't see a chimp. And there was dead silence. And not only did this artist in cement create a chimp that very evening, somewhere very obvious, but he said, no, that's not enough. And so he created this now very famous statue of David Greybeard that's at the entrance to that little theatre under the tree. And we had to work on it a bit, but we were able to insist that this was the one animal on the whole tree who has a name, David Greybeard. And I think everybody who comes, strokes him, touches him, gets photographed, sitting on his knee and that sort of thing.
Oh, he's become famous. And one last quick question, because you've been to Africa, you know what it's like, you've seen Disney. How close is it when guests come, when they take the safari? Are they seeing something that really is an authentic experience?
Well, it can't be ever authentic, can it? Because, you know, it's a confined space. But unfortunately, the frequency of vehicles that you see, that's happening in Africa too, and the tourists are so many. And there's a poor lion sitting on a kill, and there may be 20 minibuses around.
Wow.
So when people say, well, you will go to Animal Kingdom and you see other vehicles, that's common in the wild too. Unless you go to really remote places, you have to be wealthy to do that. But the kind of way you see the animals behaving is the way they behave in the wild. And, you know, so for people who will never go to Africa, I think it's a great experience.
It is. I love coming here, and I have really appreciated speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you.